8 o'clock on Wednesday night. I looked out the window and saw this.
Take those cupcakes. I don't want them.
And the noise behind me
And I'm like, ugh.
is the lady that Becky does some work for. And she just got a new car. So that's what she's showing off to Becky. But I'm showing you a rainbow. Haven't seen one for a long time. And yeah, can't see any drops on the ground, but there's a couple on the porch. That's about it. Well, it sprinkled outside. It's almost dried off now. Cousin Scott, Scott's Small Farming and Things, I believe is what his channel is called, asked me if I could get him a video of the dash on our 4010. And hey, there's some squeaky seat for Grumpy Farmer. Look at that, I got 2 shouts all at once. All in 25 seconds. Yeah, you're right. It's not an amp meter. I hate amp meters. I mean, they'll show you if you got a draw, but they won't show you what you got in the system. Voltmeters always have worked better as far as I'm concerned. But amp meters do have their place. Some things really should have both. Obviously, a couple things have been changed on the dash. But that's our dash. Yeah, that hole right there, that's where the light for it would have been. But I never did like those lights, so, you know, the way this thing's set up, you can kind of see it if it's dark out. See it good enough. And yeah, little standard 8-speed. She's got a little slop in things, a little wear in the stick, a little wear everywhere else, so things don't line up quite right. We've tried to adjust some of that out, and don't always work. And hey, the custom John Deere insignia in the middle of the steering wheel. It's about like most of them that didn't have a cab or a canopy. Weather takes its toll on those. Ignore where the PTO lever is. It's stiff and it's always engaged. The only reason it's out of gear is because one less thing to turn when you're turning the engine over. And the loader's not on it. And of course, the almighty remote, which the hydraulics were so screwed up on this thing that when we did use it with a 12-foot old ancient John Deere disc on it, it would literally take over 2 minutes to cycle the cylinder just to raise the disc. And that was with the engine revved up. But the brakes and the steering work, and that's what we need on here. So, hopefully that got enough for you, Scott. You want to see some of the inside too. There's the neutral start switch. Every now and then that one can be an issue. It's been adjusted a couple times. I think we replaced it a few years ago. Well, 10 or 15 years ago, I don't know. A couple other things in there have been replaced too. Oh yeah, and down there you got your light switch, key, fuel, and I don't remember what we put that one in for. Obviously it was something good because I don't use it. It's not like it's got anything electrical on it. Lights and that's it. Oh, we come over here too. Because this little girl has always been an ether whore. There's the push button. There's the can. The push button is wired in to the start side of the switch. So the only time it can deliver any ether is while you're turning the engine over. I've done that on everything. A lot of things, they aren't set up that way, and you hear stories about some kid wanting just a little more power to get through a hard spot in the field, and yeah, tends to cause bad things to happen. So anyway, Scott, I hope that helped you. And let's see. Yeah, that's all this has on it for hours. I think that stopped shortly after we got it. And I know that wasn't accurate back then. Because when we first got this tractor, before the transmission went bad, we took 2 5-gallon buckets of shavings out of the rear end. The discs and the pads and the and the cylinder plates for the pads for the brakes were gone. They were all in there. So, that's one reason the hydraulics don't work. I know it, but it's not worth spending the money and the time when the only thing we use it for is a loader tractor with self-contained loader. I guess that's it on this. Oh, that's 5 minutes of it, so we'll see what the rest of the day brings. These silly boys. Of course, I guess we usually don't have a rectangle feeder in there. It's usually a round feeder, and they usually leave it in one place, but these guys keep spinning this one around when it gets low. Last time it still had half a bale in it, and they spun it around. So, spin her back up where it belongs so we can dump a bale in it today and put one in. I walked down here to see how bad they had it spun around, and I think it was that one against the fence. The patch on his eye there. He was over here, and he knew I was coming. He was waiting for me. When he saw me, he did a little side jump and whatever, went clear down to the other end, and they all took off with him and came back to say hi. So, there's the yearling steers. And hey, there's some, oh, that's a heifer there. That's a heifer calf there too. Huh. Hey, wait a minute, the one laying down there. Hey, that's a future steer. Oh, he wants to come and say hi. Maybe? You want to come say hi? Yeah. Oh, well. It actually sprinkled. Can you tell? Dry as a frickin' bone. Thought that was kind of funny. I was in the shop just before I did the clip right before this for Scott. And I could hear it tinkling. And I thought, maybe? Yeah, no. All it did was settle the dust again. Ain't nothing there. Not a thing. Crazy. Ron got home last night and he said it downpoured at his place, so he's over the hill that way. The other day, number 2 was headed to town, and she said she got out on the highway, which is only a mile and a half from us. And as soon as she turned on the highway, it was dumped all the way to town. And yet the only way we get a wet spot in the driveway is to wash equipment off. Guess what? I showed you we got the kit last night, so I thought it came with the connecting rods. No, I went back and read. It doesn't. It comes with new bolts for them. But there's how clapped out shit is. And if you look at that one ring, she's kind of not all there anymore. She's kind of coming apart. Actually, I mean, they're all there. They're just not like they should be. Look how shiny they are. Now, here, if I show you instead of just putting my finger on it, look at how shiny that sucker is. One thing we didn't have. They didn't come with the damn main bearings. Spin you around. There's 2 more boxes sitting over there. This is the liners and the pistons and the rings all together as a unit, and new wrist pins. That is rod bearings and new rod cap bolts. That's all there. That's all in the kit. The mains and the thrust are not there. So, called Agri-Kits is the outfit we got it from. Here we go. There's where it come from. Phone rang, damn it. Anyway, called Agri-Kits. Talked to a nice guy named Ted. He says, let me put you on hold. Let me look into it. He doesn't know why the mains were not shipped. He says they're in stock at all of our warehouses. So he was going to make sure we have some. He said, I see where they didn't go. He says, I'll make sure you get them. So I says, when might we expect them? He says, tomorrow. I'm good with that. So they're going to overnight them. He says, should be tomorrow. So, I mean, it's probably all depending on what happens at one of their warehouses. But, yeah, it's all right. Realistically, the first pieces I wanted. because the first pieces we're going to use, do the mains first, then do the rest. So I don't know. Anyway, they're busy knocking rods out. They're gonna get them all put together so they're ready to go. And we'll get working on what we can. We still got to get irrigation going and still got to work on a bale loader sitting outside. Well, like normal around here, a little bit of everything. That looks a whole lot better than the cobulation. It was only stuck to one side before. The only place it was actually stuck before was the weld they had right here. And backed her up in here. Weld a little, peen a lot. Weld a little, peen a lot. Warm her up first. Straight edge says it's right where it belongs. Bolt goes through the hole. Of course, those holes are oversized. I think they're a 9/16 hole, but they only use a 1/2 inch bolt. So that all worked out all right. That's done. They got all the pins out. Mess laying over there on the ground. Yeah, yay. Is what it is. While I was working on this, number one and Ron pulled the turbine off the Traveler. I'd show you it, but it's laying in the barn on a pallet. I didn't want to leave it out here because, there was 1 or 2 raindrops, and that's literally all there was. Can you tell it rained today? Yeah. Just while her and Ron were taking this apart. We put this thing together last year after waiting a month and a half for the parts. And when we took it apart, the only thing in here was a seal, just like this one, on there like that. Well, there's a little issue here. The distance from here to here is a 1/4 inch less than from here to where this seal has any chance of sealing. And there were 2 plastic washers that came with it. They don't show up anywhere in my parts book. I'm assuming it's an updated seal setup. Pretty much has to be. So I called Tom, and we can't find those plastic washers. I called Tom. He's making me a couple brass ones in the morning, hopefully. And then hopefully it will seal and not douche water all over the gearbox and everything else. I mean, when this thing's spun, that thing's usually over here by the hitch, near the jack. There have been a couple of times where it just flat soaked the ground right there and it buried itself. So, and if it's not hooked to the tractor, that's a bitch. So anyway, this is our day. Clouds, sun, clouds, sun, clouds, sun, wind. Not too bad right now, but earlier there was dust blowing everywhere. So tomorrow's another day. Hopefully we can get that together and maybe get the irrigation in tomorrow. And should have those other engine parts tomorrow. Oh, hey. Oh, oil leak on this is fixed. It was just that freaking little clear plastic line right out of the engine where they always get too brittle and break. Not bad for being in there since 1985, I guess. So it should be as close to ready to go as it's going to be. And everybody already left, and I'm done for the day, so I'm going in.